Colin here. Hope all well, buddy. Let's talk about the swing a little bit here. This is rough cut, so just take it as it is. Basically in the beginning where we want to make sure the lineup of the ball is, we talked about before. So there's the ball, the left foot, and the right foot's back. The ball's up close to the front of the big toe. Okay? Now you can play a little bit back, a little bit forward, but overall what you want to be able to do is make sure it's up front. And remember again, Y is now the center of your shoulder, or sorry, the shoulder is the center of a circle. Because the bottom of the club stroke now is here. In the old stance, it's back here. In this torso, that's where the bottom of the swing is, right here. In the new one, because the right leg goes behind us, this is now the center of the circle, and in front of me now is the bottom of the swing. So that's why it's important you're here, you come up, you're swinging at the bottom down there. So that's where you need to be aligned to. That's number one. Number two, the takeaway. Now, when I set up here with the right foot behind me, as you know how to do already, here, what I want to do with this arm, I want to push. Okay? I don't want to pull. I want to push it out this way, keeps the elbow good and straight, keeps the hands away from the body. So why do I want to keep the hands away from the body? Remember, the alignment here, what we're trying to do, I'm going to change positions here. If I keep the hand away from the body, it stays in alignment with the ball. If the ball were here, okay, and now I'm moving this way, away, straight arm, okay, and I come back in, the hands, if they come across, which is what you were doing at the driving range before, it doesn't allow the hands to stay out here where I want them to be behind the ball. So now this is what I talked about, the flying elbow. This comes away with this push. Now the right arm does this. And now this keeps the hands out the front behind the ball more or less, where the club head can be more in a line behind the ball. If I keep the right arm in tight, it goes way off alignment. And I don't want... Okay, so Brian, we just adjusted here so you can see the feet. Now what we're going to do with the feet placement is this is more of the traditional stance, parallel, okay? So now what we're going to do is take the right leg behind me, okay? Now what's important here, what I'm trying to teach here is this hip and sway. I don't want your hip to move. I do not want it to come outside your right foot. Now if you look down at the right foot, it's toed open slightly. It's not here where it's straight, it's toed open slightly, and that's really comfortable for me.
Good, go.
Okay.
Go.
Okay, Brian, we just changed our angle here a little bit, so now we're just going to do the front angle, just to show you, trying not to move the hip too much. It's not going to be perfect, but the idea is to stay quiet with the hip. See the elbow get high? And what happens, okay, on me. So what happens now when you're doing that, the high elbow lets the swish come through. You've got awesome wrists, right? By letting this come way up high, 1 pendulum, 2 pendulum, 3. So now when you come through, that swishing sound is the wrist doing all the work for you. And I was just cracking out wedges 160. 160, where'd that come from? And it's not consistent, so it's a drag. But when you swing nice and easy, and you get going through the swing, it's so much easier because that wrist comes through when the elbow's nice and high. And it just swooshes through. And my problem is I swing too darn fast. And then what happens, and you're going to have this, so don't worry about it, your swing is low, where the elbow stays down. It's like you're caught in between traditional and new, and because of that, you duff. I duff too much. Alrighty, buddy? So it's up high, swing through. Now I'm going to do it with the driver. Okay, Brian, so what we're going to do now, just switch clubs. We're going to go to the driver, and there's the ball. Okay, so I've tried a couple of different things that you might want to try. This is now here, where I'm on this one. Again, the toe is pointed out slightly. I get to knee in. When I have the ball closer to the big toe, for me, because my hands are really late, I slice the ball. And when I swing hard, I slice the ball and go really short. So what you got to do, for me, for mine, I'm putting it 3 to 4 inches in front of my left foot. So there's the left heel, and look at that, from the left heel. That's the kind of what I'm getting, way out in front of my left toe. So because of that, because my toe is right here, It's a good 4 inches in front of the big toe. And for me, that helps me get around because I have poor wrists, but you have great wrists, so you play with it. But ideally what I want to do now is when I'm swinging here, it's get up high. Why? The same principle. I want the wrist to come through easy, really easily. And the same principle about the hip stays. Down a little bit of power, stay here, easy up, let her go. And that's how we want it to work. So let's do it this way now, sideways. So we're here. What I want to do is swing up. Again, I'm pushing out with the left hand. Okay, Brian, that was the doggy break. So now we're doing it again here. Just switch sides so you see it from behind now. And the same principle applies here. So this is the center of the circle. That is the bottom of the stroke. The left arm pushes out. You want the left arm to push out. You do not come across. You go out and high, keeping the left elbow straight. This comes up. Arm goes up. Boom. So when you do it, and that's one of the biggest changes in our swing, is that we let the right arm go very high. Okay, so that was the airplane break. Let's try this again. So, same principle here. The leg is behind the body as before, behind the heel, slightly toed out, which for me is very natural. I get a little compression on the right knee. I'm setting up the ball for me is always in front of my left foot a little bit, outside my left heel. It's just for my preference. You might want it in because you've got better wrists. At this point now, I'm going to push, not pull, push out, left elbow straight. This keeps the club head way outside as long as possible before it comes up. And again, that's going to give me much better alignment for the head of the club to be on axis to the ball, which is here. It's not this way. That's not the axis to the ball. The axis to the ball we want is this way. So from this perspective now, standing here, push, let her go. And the higher you get the elbow on the drive, for me especially, the better it goes. And if I could just do it calmly, like today I hit only 4 out of maybe 15 shots. I had 4 or 5 that were 250 carries. I had 2 that were like 275, and everything else was like 235, 240, 220. And that's because of me swinging too hard. So if I can just get the ease of the swing to let the wrists come through better, I get a far better swoosh at the end. Because as soon as I go stiff, my wrists lock, and then I lose actually velocity the harder I swing. Gravity pulls on the head of the club and extends the body, elbows, shoulders, wrists all lock up. I don't want that. And the harder I swing, the more that naturally occurs. And I got goofy juice in the brain and I can't slow down. But as soon as I slow down, I get that great swooshing sound, great head acceleration of the club, and the ball goes much further. And I got to trust the swing, because the slower and more controlled, the better the flight and the better the distance. Listen, hope you like this, buddy. I'll put it up on YouTube and we'll talk later. Bye for now.